There was one report that a neighbor had seen you loading something into a vehicle.
I haven't seen that report.
Did you load anything into a vehicle? Anything large?
Some umbrellas, some market umbrellas. Those are those, the umbrellas on the stands that are 8 feet in diameter or something like that.
When did you do that?
That morning.
Chase, what do you got?
This is unbelievable. So from an audio perspective, I haven't seen that report. No one's asking if you've seen the report. She didn't ask. So that's an ambiguity, failure to answer the question. So that's an 8 already. Some umbrellas with an upward tone. This reminded me about a previous video we did. I couldn't remember what it was, where Mark was giving an example of, like, let's say you played music all your life and then somebody says, can you do a song about flowers? And you're like, no, I can't do it. Oh, yeah. You know what? I can do a song about flowers. So he just kind of coughed this up, offered it up. What I wish Diane would have done here, if I was coaching her, one of her assistants hands her an iPad or something that can play a video. And then she asks a bait question. And she says, Scott, I want you to think very carefully before you answer this question. Is there any reason that someone's security camera would have a video of you here loading something into the back of your car? And that's it. It's not a leading question. He didn't do anything wrong, he could just say no. And then we kind of get him in because he doesn't know if there's a video, what the video contains or what it shows. So it makes the nervousness and stress of being deceptive, it multiplies that stuff. And these are all incomplete sentences everywhere, nonsensical statements. And I want you to notice the lips closing. When you see this again, every statement, lips shut down right away. And he's saying, oh, it's 8 feet in diameter or something like that. And he's at max cognitive load here. His cognitive load, which is basically how much our CPU is being used up. He's maxed out. And he throws this umbrellas out there and then just throws in like, oh, that wasn't enough. Give her some more. And then he goes, marketing umbrellas, and just starts adding detail to it. This is the classic stuff you would see from a 6-year-old explaining something. Greg, what do you got?
Guys, am I frozen?
Yeah. I just thought you were pissed off.
I kept putting, I was getting the giggles, man.
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I can see you guys, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Hang in there. Hang in there a second.
It's the best.
I can do it like this.
And I just shut.
So we're not going to give. So Greg, we're not going to give any pudding tonight after supper. It's okay. It's okay.
I just looked like my meds were a little low there.
Yeah. Wow.
So you have to do that handover to me again, Chase.
No, you don't. I'm keeping all that.
Oh, that's good. Man. I'm okay. I just say my meds are acting up.
All right. And Greg, what do you got?
So let's call this one the too much. I'm going to go down 3 or 4 things that he does too much of. Number 1, there's too much BS in the beginning. The stall, the chaff and redirect when he doesn't answer the question. I love that when Chase, we're on the same page. Somebody said this about you. Well, I hadn't heard that. Okay, that's not what the question is. The other part that I love is she's telegraphing, answer no, answer no, answer no, and he doesn't pick up on that. He has too much eye contact right out of the gate, way too much eye contact. He's in Romancer. He's trying to connect with her. Maybe he finds himself charming, and maybe he thinks he can charm Diane Sawyer. Not a good idea. Not working. He has too much info. You know those umbrellas that are 8 feet? Well, he says umbrellas and then thinks, well, nobody's going to mistake my wife's, in my opinion, nobody's going to mistake my wife's body for an umbrella. So it must be a big umbrella. So then he has to go larger with that. And then the last piece, and I'll jump off of it at this, is he has too much anticipation and appreciation, because the minute he thinks that she has bought it, then he's quickly breaking away from it and he's ready to go. And he says, umbrellas, boom, and breaks away from it. The other piece is the last one I'll leave you with, every time we've seen him go access eye movement, it's down into his left, suddenly down to his right when he's talking about all these details about this elevator, about these umbrellas. So too much. He's gone from one kind of slagging along, not being able to finish a sentence, to giving another not finished sentence, but with too much information. That's what I got. Scott.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember because I froze up.
That's right. So when you go into fight or flight, and I think it was Joe Navarro that came up with freeze, fight or flight. He added freeze to it. We see this in classic mode here. This is again revisiting the classics. Is fight or flight, because when she asks him that question, he gives his answer. He freezes. And he just sits there for like 4 seconds. Nothing happens. And like a champ, she doesn't say anything. She's sitting there letting him heat up a little bit as he goes through that. So what happens is when you hit freeze, fight, or flight, you freeze. For example, I think the good example is if the SWAT team's going in or they're surrounding a house, getting ready to breach, go in the door, and there's something at the window. Everybody freezes, everybody stops, because somebody looking out the window is going to look for something moving. They're probably going to see everybody down there. But still, you freeze. That's the first thing you do. But you can't help but freeze when something happens, because at that point, that's when you make up your mind. Am I going to have to fight somebody? I have to run off and got to protect myself. What's going to happen? So we see him hit the 3 Fs right there: freeze, fight, or flight. We see him hit freeze just right there, and he decides to fight. So he goes in with that really bad answer. And this is it's like a Woody Allen movie back in those 70s movies, Woody Allen movies. It's hilarious. I don't know what else to say. Everything's pretty much been covered. Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so freeze, flight, fight, faint. He's getting close to the faint at the end.
The fourth F.
He does freeze at the start. Then he does do flight, because you see him retreat right back before he starts giving this story. You do see anger at the end. So he does go for fight at the very, very end. You'll see the last expression, lips tighten up, and he's got into fight at the end. You'll see actually in the next video, he's now getting close to faint, and we'll hear that in his voice as well. Here's what I love about this is Diane Sawyer, because she's using the Columbo method here, which is confusion and innocence. So she's playing this character of, I'm terribly confused by what I've heard and just very innocent about my knowledge level around this, to lower status and bait him in order to give something of an answer. And he does comply, because he starts just talking nonsense around this. But the first move there is lower status, confusion, innocence. Brilliantly done. It's a great method if you ever want to use that. Is don't come in with all the status, don't come in with all the knowledge, come in with not knowing and being very confused about stuff. And then here's what she does. She gives the question with that confusion and knowledge, and then she shuts up. She says nothing. Yeah. Now, a bit later on, you're going to see him get wise to that, because he gives her a signal in one of the videos coming, saying, I'm not falling for that one again. Not falling for that one. You're going to have to complete. I will answer a complete question, but I'm not falling for that routine anymore. So great from her. Brilliant performance. Great to see him go to anger there. That's what I got for you.
Excellent.
There was one report that a neighbor had seen you loading something into a vehicle.
I haven't seen that report.
Did you load anything into a vehicle? Anything large?
Some umbrellas, some market umbrellas. Those are those, the umbrellas on the stands that are 8 feet in diameter or something like that.
When did you do that?
That morning.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.